How's it going?
Recording in progress.
I'm like,
all right, the hour is 9, it's 3 o'clock. We want to welcome Chairperson Starns, who gave us some lovely red beans and rice. So try to avoid that postprandial depression, as we say in the medical field. Try to stay alert, pinch your neighbor, whatever it takes. I mean, in a very kind and appropriate way, of course. All right, so thank you for that, Chairperson Starns. You will note that once again, we are in a new venue. Due to a climate control system failure in the law school, we now find ourselves here. So hats off, and I'd like to hear a round of applause for Miss Knoll, who, somewhat like a traveling circus, pulled us together once again. New venue, like I said. All right, so now, a few points of order. With the exception of those speaking who are sufficiently socially distanced from everyone else, please, everyone, don your mask inside, as we are inside, and this is LSU policy. All right, next, please confirm your attendance by the slide here. It saves us time and also helps to avoid errors. And this is for guests and senators. Please confirm your attendance as indicated on the slide at that email address. All right, all right, next. We do have some attending with LSU COVID accommodations via Zoom, correct? And we do ask that as tempting as it is, because as I've mentioned before, we've all been Zoomified, do not use the chat function, because that is speaking out of turn or out of order when you don't have the floor. So tempting as it is, please avoid that. All senators in person and via Zoom must raise your hand to be recognized before you can take the floor. But be sure to identify yourself and your college when you're called upon to speak. And this will help, hopefully, with accurate record keeping, as well as familiarizing yourself with your fellow senators and guests. Also, guests that are full-time members of the faculty can, as it was pointed out to me, participate in discussions on agenda items, according to our Constitution. However, the agenda is long and the time is short, so please limit your comments to a single discussion point, monologue, or other exchange as much as possible. Please be direct without being caustic. Let's be pleasant. We don't have to agree, but we do need to conduct ourselves as the professionals we are. All right, next. There's been some concerns raised, quite a few actually, about the time that it takes to do voting by roll call, as well as the fact that some people are not comfortable with it. According to Louisiana public meetings laws, we have to record votes. But I have yet to find anything that says we have to have a live vote. Now, we have plenty of people who are, let's say, attorneys in the room. So if that's not correct, I'm certainly happy to be corrected. However, in the meantime, to expedite things and so on, we will be voting by quadrants. Every vote will be recorded and vetted. All right. Next, our meetings. I know we have a lot to say, a lot to discuss, and a lot of important matters. I don't want to exclude anyone from any discussion, but let's be clear. Our meetings are taking on marathon proportions. This is not going to work. We all have places to be, people to see, and so on. And believe it or not, we have full-time jobs as well. So there are many things we need to get back to, right? So I will tell you, there will be a hard, full, incontrovertible stop at 5:30. Additionally, be aware that we're paying for this space. And when we go overtime, we're really incurring a lot of costs. So let's be expeditious. Again, please be polite, at least, and diplomatic. And let's limit our discussion to germane points. I also, when discussion's gone on too long, we do have the right to call a question or table an item until our next meeting. All right, that wasn't very brief. I apologize. Just some rules of order in our new reality. All right, first up, I will call the alternates. Remember, we do not have proxies, only alternates. That is, you have one body, one vote. If you are unable to attend, you must have an alternate attend on your behalf in order to have the vote. All right, so alternates. Faridun Agazadeh for Mohammed Wahab, John Nyman for Kevin Ringelman, Chip Delzell for Scott Baldridge, James Murphy for Alan Sykes, Edward Shahada for Margot Brault, Robert Newman for Joseph Lagoria, and Lauren Lazaro for Lisa Foltz. Are there any additional alternates that we should report? All right. Yes.
Oliver Crocco for Eddie Gibbons.
Oliver Crocco for Eddie Gibbons. All right. Any others? All right. Very good. All right. So we've already had the roll. Yes. Next up, we have public comments. I welcome public comments. We all do. Let's keep to the time limit of 3 minutes. A timer will sound. We do ask that you yield the floor at that time. Again, friends, we have a lot to get through, so let's stay on task, on time. All right, the first public comment. Ms. Moll, can you?
All right, good afternoon. The first registered public comment is Professor Lede on Resolution 21-08.
Good afternoon. I am Julia Lede. I've been an LSU faculty member since 1988, and previously I was a faculty senator from 2018 to 2021. This comment is in reference to Resolution 21-08. I served on the Faculty Senate Executive Committee as an at-large member from May 2019 to August 2020. This puts me in a unique position to comment on this resolution, as I work directly with the officers named in this resolution. I have seen how hard these 3 officers work in serving on the FSCC. In the beginning of my 1-year term on the FSCC, I felt somewhat like a fly on the wall, with observing, taking in, and learning as much as I could about being on the committee. As my year progressed, my eyes were open to the amount of work, knowledge, and leadership that these experienced officers provide. As someone who was on the inside, I saw firsthand the many hours of work each week that these officers do. I saw the historical knowledge of the Senate that they could recall without having to look it up. I saw leadership and patience from the more experienced officers as they taught the newer members about serving on the FSEC. The LSU Faculty Senate and the LSU faculty are lucky to have officers experienced at the helm of the Faculty Senate in the positions of president, vice president, secretary, and past president. For anyone who steps into an office or a job for the first time has a learning curve to deal with. This was evident for me when I was on the FSEC. I was appreciative of the leadership, knowledge, and patience that the more experienced officers brought to the table. This resolution calls for resignations of 3 of the most experienced officers on the board, with elections being held at the earliest opportunity to fill the vacated post. To almost totally start from scratch is insane. This causes me to wonder, how do you elect a past president? You don't. If the 3 officers were to all resign, then President Lopez would immediately become the past president. This resolution is flawed and makes no sense. The members of the FSEC were elected to serve in their respective current positions. If there are other faculty members who are interested in serving, then those faculty members can throw their hats into the ring when the next regular elections are held. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Professor Rowley, the next public comment that's registered on resolution 21-08.
Good afternoon. I despise the television game show Family Feud. I only said that because when you give a speech, you're supposed to start with something that gets everybody's attention and that every single person can agree with. So that's what I say to start. But if there were a survey question on Family Feud that said, name a group that LSU Faculty Senate serves, I'm pretty sure that the #1 answer by far would be the LSU faculty. But that answer is only partially correct. And in my opinion, it's not even the most correct answer. Instead, LSU Faculty Senate needs to interact productively with our other partners, constituents, and stakeholders, the upper administration, the Board of Supervisors, and most importantly, the students and the taxpayers who give us the privilege of being here. So I oppose Resolution 21-08, an expression of no confidence in selected members of the Faculty Senate leadership, because the current selected members have shown that they understand this principle at least as well as anyone else who might replace them. Furthermore, even after reading through the extensive handouts from the last Faculty Senate meeting, I see no incriminating evidence that the selected members intended to misinform or deceive from the rest of the Faculty Senate Executive Committee or the LSU faculty in general. On the contrary, the selected members have done a lot for our LSU community, no compensation beyond which they need to serve their function. Like most faculty, they haven't been trained to do this job, and it's on-the-job training. Nothing I've seen or heard convinces me that any intent to misinform or deceive was present, especially when seen in this light. Faculty Senate leadership ought to shield us faculty from the information that we don't need to worry about so that we can do our jobs uninterrupted while providing punctually the information that we do need. This is a fine line to walk, especially considering that every faculty member has a different definition of what they need to know, and each person's definition of how much they need to know varies from one issue to the next. There will inevitably be times when they miscalculate in someone's eyes. The selected members, none of whom are personal friends, nor teaching, research, or service colleagues of mine, nor have they ever been, are a stabilizing influence in an uncertain time. when taking up an adversarial position with the upper administration, board of supervisors, state legislature, or any other stakeholders should be done selectively rather than recklessly. Finding new leadership would be dangerous, especially when we don't know if the next leadership waiting in the wings may be eager to seize control to pursue their own agenda in an unnecessarily adversarial type of relationship with whoever stands in the way. So I recommend opposing this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next registered public comment is Taylor McNair on resolution 21-06.
Hello, I am a biology graduate student who has read through every clinical trial, CDC and FDA databases, and numerous CDC-cited research regarding COVID-19 and its vaccines. While discussing COVID-19 mandates, I want to make some things clear. As we know, Pfizer, BioNTech, and Conformity are different vaccines, one being approved and the other still under EUA, which comes with vastly different liabilities. Though, while sifting through the FDA website, I came across some composition differences. Quote, Conformity and BNT162B2, which is Pfizer, have identical amino acid sequences of the encoded antigens, but Conformity includes the presence of optimized codons to improve antigen expression. And another, the structural elements of the vector backbones of Conformity are optimized for prolonged and strong translation of the antigen-encoding RNA. If we cannot get access to Conformity, we simply cannot tell the people at this university that they are receiving an FDA-approved vaccine. Also, according to the CDC, under the EUA, it is your choice to receive or not to receive the vaccine. If the purpose of the mandate is to stop the spread, consider that, according to the CDC, quote, vaccinated people can still become infected and have the potential to spread the virus to others. And another, according to Pfizer, the scientific community does not yet know if the Conformity will reduce asymptomatic transmission. Not only this, we must provide students a risk to benefit analysis. Claims of absolute safety or certainty should be treated with great caution. According to the WHO, even when the vaccine is considered sufficiently safe, mandatory vaccination should be implemented with no false compensation schemes to address any vaccine-related harm that might occur. Data and efficiency and effectiveness should be available. According to the FDA, any person acting on behalf of the sponsor or investigator shall not represent in a promotional context of investigational new drug is safe or effective for the purposes for which it is under investigation or otherwise promote the drug. Although Conformity is still under investigation, as Conformity received a conditional marketing authorization, the company that markets Conformity will continue to provide results from the main trial, which is ongoing for 2 years. So, according to the FDA, known Conformity risks are anaphylaxis, myocarditis, and pericarditis. Unknown Conformity risks are, quote, how effective the vaccines are against new variants of the virus that cause COVID-19. Quote, data are limited to assess the effect of the vaccine against asymptomatic infection. Quote, the impact of Conformity on the spread of SARS-CoV-2 virus in the community is not yet known. Quote, available data on Conformity administered to pregnant women are insufficient to inform vaccine-associated risk of pregnancy. Quote, Conformity has not been evaluated for potential to cause carcinogenicity, genotoxicity, or impairment of male fertility. Quote, information is not yet available about the potential long-term health outcomes. And that is why I'm here today to make sure that the risk-benefit analysis are clearly portrayed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next registered public comment is Professor Howe on resolution 21-11.
Thank you, senators and fellow faculty members. My name is Rémy. I am a faculty member from Physics and Astronomy. The Faculty Senate exists to advocate for faculty concerns and should operate as a faculty board. The university exists for the good of society through free exploration and expression of ideas, open discussion and debate, even on topics that others, including perhaps a majority of society, may disapprove. An anonymous resolution like 2111 with unsupported claims and accusations against other senators and faculty members has no place. Even apart from broader norms that everyone has the right in this nation to confront their accusers. Internet trolls, fake news, and disinformation, unfortunately, plague our times. Do we want to bring that style into our academic discourse? The resolution, while accusing others of threatening, hostile, and intimidating environment, calls for LSU president to investigate and for the faculty senate then to punish senators and faculty members. Is irony dead in our times or here at LSU? The worst aspect of 2111 is that in calling for the LSU president to initiate actions against faculty, it violates the most fundamental principles of a US university. We have policy statements and procedures for personnel decisions. Whether the granting of promotion or tenure, PS 36, or the revoking of tenure, PS 104, 109, these are all faculty initiated and run. To be sure, final decisions are the board's, but instead of them welling from peer faculty and all the way under their control, now there will be precedents for provosts, presidents, and boards to start proceedings against individual faculty. Talk of chilling effect. Of course, this is what a Georgia board has already done. And many of us have feared such attacks in Louisiana, but did not dream that it would arise from within in the form of a faculty senate resolution. It should not take any seniority for any faculty members. Even the most junior faculty can laugh this absurdity out of our midst. Now, that same autocratic element by a few officers could even entertain for a minute that the president or other administrator is our boss. We have, as university faculty, heirs to holy traditions and heritage. After World War II, the military hero Dwight Eisenhower was made president of Columbia University to give him public civilian credentials before he was elected president of the nation. When he referred on one occasion to my faculty, the eminent Columbia physicist Isaac Isidore Rabi corrected him that the faculty is the university. They are not his employees. Just as public servants take an oath for the Constitution, not to any individual, including the president, even if this has been violated in recent years, we work for our institutions and professions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next registered public comment is Philip Delay on resolution 21-06.
It's a little warm here.
Thank you all for being here and thanks for having me. I'm gonna make this quick. It's a quick story about 4 generations. That's what it covers. And I'm here to save Anne Frank. Specifically, I'm here to save my son Jude. I'm here for my son and anyone else that may be in his position. My wife, Sally, didn't even know she was Hungarian Jewish until she was 39 years old. And I'll tell you why. It's because her dad, Dr. Kane, was a veterinarian, one of the first veterinarians in Baton Rouge. Did not realize he was, or know that he was a Hungarian Jew until he was in his 20s. The reason being is because Dr. Walter Kahn, later changed his name to Kane, was a Hungarian Jew in Germany. He since had to change his name to Kane for 2 reasons. When he came here, Germans weren't that well appreciated after World War II. Second reason is because it shows his Hungarian Jewish background, which that also wasn't too appreciated to some degree, unless you were in the military and actually saw what happened in Germany yourself at the time. So on it goes. I'm married to this woman, good 12, 15 years or so. I can't remember when. I find out I got a herd of Jewish kids in my house, and they're mine. And my wife is Jewish. I accepted that with open arms, and that's why my son, who she was pregnant with at the time when we found out, I named him Jew. Anyway, during that time in Germany, you may recall this, there was a lot of coercion going on. Let me tell you what my wife's grandfather had to do as a doctor in Germany, who at the time owned a mansion and other businesses. He was coerced, so he was going to lose it all, and falsifying death certificates. Notice the numbers that we've been getting have been changed. Got a heart attack, got a little COVID, you got a COVID. That's basically a falsification of the death certificate, if you ask me. Loss of income, livelihoods. During that time, people were displaced because of their beliefs, experimented on. Propaganda was rampant. Not going along with the narrative, he was shamed and dirty, hauled off to concentration camps, whether you were Jewish or not, didn't matter. That's why Germans were so scared to speak up for him. I'm a little bit nervous right here, right now, speaking up for Anne Frank. Star David, I'm not going to say anything more about it. They had to have that on just to go outside. We have to have it on just to be inside. I did it. They indoctrinated our youth, all of those things. Questions I have, if I can be real quick about it. What makes it suddenly safe when you're at a podium or at a microphone that you don't have to wear a mask? The swine flu was halted after 26 deaths. We're over 17,000 with this one. Why isn't it years of data, the VAERS data being considered and reported? Why isn't the LDH hotline available to everyone at every hospital? Why isn't that advertised as well as the vaccine being promoted? Why are jobs and education in jeopardy if for some reason someone chooses not to get inoculated? My oldest son was injured 20 years ago by a vaccine, couldn't speak, he's 6 years old. Fortunately, we did find a doctor to help get rid of a lot of those things, which he was full of mercury and arsenic at the time. We got rid of that. And since this, yes, I understand. But these are the questions, and I have a few more, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next registered public comment is Valerie Gibson on resolution 21-06.
Thank you for having me for allowing us to do this. Last month, I covered the scientific and legal reasons why Resolution 21-06 has no business being passed. I would refer you back to the video, but that has conveniently been removed from the internet. I will say that this resolution is directly contrary to science and law. But today, since I have seen firsthand how certain members of the Faculty Senate employ strawman attacks against concerned mothers, students, and coworkers, somehow insinuating that who they are determines whether they're allowed to have an informed opinion, I decided to give some background on who we are. My great aunt worked at the LSU Law School for 30 years and now has a scholarship named after her. My maternal grandfather graduated from LSU Medical School and went on to become one of the founding physicians of Lane Memorial Hospital in Zachary. I myself graduated magna cum laude in 3.5 years on a full academic scholarship. I felt great pride in the prospect of my daughter, one of my 5 children, following in our footsteps. This young lady graduated from Baton Rouge Magnet High School at the age of 16 with a 33 ACT. She was awarded one of the top LSU academic scholarships. She chose LSU over other schools because our family ties and because of the pride of being a Baton Rouge native attending LSU. But she got one semester through and then COVID. Her lifelong dream had been to be a veterinarian, but LSU and COVID killed that dream. She had to change her major because you really can't teach yourself pre-vet. The teachers have been MIA since March 2020. They don't keep office hours, they don't answer emails, and I truly appreciate it. I don't think that you meant to, but last month when you mentioned that the Board of Supervisors does not answer emails, apparently they ignore all of us. All tests are done online, whether there are system glitches or not. Her scholarship is supposed to include $1,500 for an on-campus job at the lab school, but that disappeared with COVID, so she lost out on that income. Then this year, LSU has implemented ridiculous and scientifically baseless policies that ignore natural immunity, not to mention civil rights laws. LSU has moved the goalposts at every whim with no consideration to the students or their rights. Law means nothing to LSU anymore. Your own rules don't even matter to you. William Tate and several of you proposing this resolution have been photographed indoors without your masks. But you don't count because you're above the peasants. You make the rules, you don't have to follow them. Well, let me tell you something about my dad's side of the family. My grandfather's family was Jewish Ukrainian immigrants who came to this country between the world wars. They came to escape from totalitarianism and to seek the freedom offered in the United States. I speak to you right now from that part of my heritage. What you are doing is reminiscent of what happened in Europe in the 1930s. Designate the undesirables, then ostracize them little by little. Take away their rights bit by bit. Nobody stands up to you because they have seen how you target anyone who dares. But I'm here to tell you that you will not do it here. We are not afraid to tell you no. We have laws because of circumstances like this where people in power try to abuse and control those who are not. If you want to bring LSU's policies in line with the law, by all means do so. Reference Louisiana Constitution Article 1, Sections 3, 5, and 12. Then refresh your mind on Louisiana RS 17, 170, E, and F. Senators, I urge you to defeat this resolution. Don't tarnish LSU even further in the eyes of your stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next registered public comment is Vicki Roy on resolution 21-10.
Thank you. It's hard to follow that. My name is Vicki Roy. I have 3 children attending the University Lab School. I also have a doctorate in language and literacy development from the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, and have spent my career working for struggling learners. I'm here on behalf of a group of concerned parents of children attending the University Lab School who would like to be heard when decisions are being made that directly impact their minor children. This is why I'm here to make comment on Resolution 2110. We have spent over a week pressing on our administration for answers as to who exactly makes this decision. Despite quite a bit of stonewalling, it is our understanding that the lab school is governed by LSU's decisions regarding all COVID matters, and therefore decisions made for the LSU students and employees have a direct impact on the requirements for our children to continue to wear masks. A few things that must be considered. The lab school is made up of a majority of minor children. If decisions made on behalf of adult-aged college students regarding COVID restrictions are going to be imposed on minor children, then the conversations and discussions being had about these decisions must include parental input. Lab school students are required to wear masks all day long, 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. This is not the case for college students, teachers, professors, or the administration of the lab school or LSU. The administration of the lab school has insisted that the decisions to keep minor children who have not been properly trained in the proper use of masks is based on science. However, they have failed to produce the safety studies showing that not wearing a mask in the PMAC is safe, but wearing a mask in the kindergarten hallways at the lab school is still needed. Our children have not received any training on how to keep their masks clean and sanitary during extended use. Children are touching things all day long and then touching their faces. They are sneezing and coughing without being provided a clean mask afterwards. They are not allowed to take a break from mask wearing at all. They are expected to learn from adults who are wearing masks, blocking important auditory and visual information, which then requires them to work even harder to learn all day long. LSU recently lifted the mask mandate at the PMAC, insinuating that somehow sports goers are safe to be without a mask while enjoying an athletic event, which is paid for, but children are somehow unsafe to learn without a mask. Following the governor's mask mandate, the University of Louisiana Systems adopted a policy that determined mask mandates based on 4 levels of COVID risk. Parishes with substantial or high risk will maintain a mask mandate, and parishes with moderate and low risk will no longer require masks. Louisiana Tech is a parish that continues to require a mask. However, A.E. Phillips, the laboratory school on Louisiana Tech's campus, has moved to parent choice. On behalf of the state map, let's move on since I see you there. The decision to continue to require minor children to wear a mask for 7+ hours a day for 5 days a week is unsafe and unjust. This is not the reality for college students, nor is it the reality for the administration. Children at the lab school should not be expected to learn while masked. The risks no longer outweigh the benefits. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. The next registered public comment is Sharon Thornton on resolution 21-06.
Louisiana ORS 17170. Current law provides for exceptions to vaccine requirements for medical and other personal reasons. I think we all know that. The reasonable approach to vaccine requirements has been in the current law without significant controversy for decades. In the event of an outbreak of a vaccine preventable disease, upon the recommendation of the Office of the Public Health, schools may exclude students from attendance until the incubation period has expired. The reality is that COVID-19 is not a vaccine preventable disease. The CDC has made that abundantly clear, stating that COVID-19 vaccines are not 100% effective at preventing the infection. Some people who are fully vaccinated will still get COVID-19 with breakthrough cases, and people who get breakthrough cases can be contagious. The CDC stated just last week that they have no instance of an unvaccinated person getting COVID a second time and then infecting someone else. With this admission from Rochelle Walensky, they have acknowledged the strength of natural immunity. This confirms what true scientists have known for decades. The natural immunity is robust and long-lasting. If the goal of the vaccination is immunity, why does LSU persist on ignoring natural immunity? Why won't LSU follow this CDC evidence? These students can spend time writing elaborate documents with rationale behind their philosophical and religious beliefs. The fact remains that this is the law and they are exempt. A better idea is that they do what they came to LSU for, and that is to be educated, not coerced into a medical decision. Increasing PCR tests weekly will only expose students to more ethylene oxide that is a known carcinogen. Students do not need to be tested with swabs that can contribute to several health problems on a monthly and certainly not on a weekly basis. Furthermore, if a student that has been vaccinated can still spread this virus, can it be explained why the unvaccinated are the only ones undergoing these dangerous treatments? This is discrimination. I'd like to mention that LSUA, your counterpart, will let their students breathe at their university, on their campus. Is there a reasonable explanation with the current count being at 11 through the entire LSU system? There is certainly a solution. Let LSU students breathe at all campuses. Louisiana RS 40, 1159.7. Nothing contained herein shall be construed to abridge any right of a person 18 years of age or over to refuse to consent to medical or surgical treatment as his own person. It would be a wise choice to let LSU students exercise their rights rather than bully them into unsafe medical procedures. Educators that will use their social media platforms to slander students that have different beliefs should come to the realization that they are here to educate, not mandate, not harass, and not discriminate. I ask you today, is this truly about fear or is this about control?
Thank you. The next registered public comment is Professor Turner on Resolution 21-08.
So with respect to petitioners for the faculty resolution 28 and the discussion of various perspectives made, the faculty senate please consider some of the comments been said already. I'll just say that this is a yeoman's work that the faculty senate administration is doing. It's on-the-job training, and they've already shown how much a certain amount of skill on this, although it's on the job with the COVID, the Title IX, and the hiring of the new president already, but it's still on the job. And I don't think there's an intentional act of looking away or opposing valued action. It's not apparent. Rather, time constraints, misunderstandings, a lot of other competing interests, both within the faculty senate and outside. They still are employed as full-time faculty members for their other duties. And there's incomplete information, and of course, there's always the imperfection of humanities that are in all of us, so we all make mistakes. So this is a state that is still lingering in a kind of a patron political system. It's not a meritocracy, that's completely at all, and it's something that the administration has, at all levels, has to navigate. And so I ask you, if you were in this position, how many of you know the names of all the boards of supervisors? Because this is about a relationship between individuals and how we deal with that and how we navigate that. And I think they clearly got the message, which this resolution says is flawed in some way, that the 350 faculty signed it. That's why they objected to it with the resolution that came through the board. It's very clear. So it wasn't a missed message at all of resistance. And the last point, I just say, to keep this short, is that the elections are in 5 months. And we're being asked in this resolution to make, I think, what is probably an impractical suggestion, which is to remove 3 of them, 3 of the 7, and give it to the 4th, the secretary that is there. And that person has said they don't want it. So you're asking them to take on 4 jobs for something they don't want to do, which seems a bit imperfect. So I ask for a decisive rejection of the proffered resolution, and I also ask for the people who have the objection to work with the administration to sustain and improve the workings of the faculty senate. And I say this after being here since the geologic epoch a long time ago, for 47 years. It's vastly improved in its function over those periods of time. Not that it can't be improved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The last registered public comment is Michelle O'Donnell on Resolution 21-06.
evening. Thank you very much. Dr. Lopez, I'd like to thank you. Two gentlemen, and I'd like to thank you for being here. I've watched you while everyone has spoken, and your attention to each speaker is moving to me, and it shows how much you care. I'm a mother of 4 undergrad students at LSU, and so proud that they can be here. I take issue to Resolution 2106 because it is flawed on its face. It distinguishes between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, when we're all clear on the science that both the vaccinated and the unvaccinated can carry the virus. Putting the unvaccinated in a specific group and requiring them to test is unduly burdensome, and I've witnessed it with my own children. I'm going to ask the Senate to strike this resolution. Additionally, my question to you, Senate members, is PCR testing has been called by the FDA, and the FDA is only allowing PCR testing until January 1st. What is the Senate going to do with testing after January 1st? 1. And 2, are the parents or the students who are unvaccinated going to be forced to bear the burden of this cost? I ask you to reconsider this resolution and require testing for both the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, so there's no more discrimination, there's no more divide, and we're all in this fight against COVID together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate public engagement. This is a public body, and we appreciate each and every one of these comments. Thank you for being here. All right, now we'll carry on with our agenda, and the next item is the consideration of the minutes. Are there any significant changes or, well, mostly significant changes other than typographical, grammatical, etc. errors that need to be changed immediately, that are require immediate attention? Okay, so I'll wait up here.
Some minor changes, some wording was attributed to me that I didn't say.
Okay, it seems there was a comment that was attributed to VP King that was not appropriate. Can we accept that as a friendly amendment? Is there any opposition to accepting the minutes with this minor change? Anyone opposed to accepting the minutes? May I have a motion to accept the minutes then? All right, 2, 3, all right. Oh, right, okay. Professor Jerome.
Yeah, just on page 14, I stated as saying bylaws are the Constitution. I'm assuming that's a transcription error, but it's substantive in nature. So if we go back and review the video, it wasn't online. I can see it, but I'm assuming perhaps it's supposed to be bylaws and the Constitution of some sort. But clearly doesn't seem to stick out.
Okay, so there was I'm sorry, I can't hear you over the blower, but did you hear that? Okay, so can you tell me so? All right, on page 14, there was apparently a transcription error, and bylaws was apparently switched with Constitution.
It just says that the bylaws are the Constitution.
Oh, the bylaws are the
Right,
Constitution.
like, bylaws
Okay,
say bylaws
and the Constitution. Okay, fair enough. Yes, that's a yes. Yes, no, the bylaws are not the Constitution. Good catch. All right, can we accept that as a friendly amendment as well? Okay, are there any others? All right, now, may I have a motion to accept the minutes with these changes? All right, we have motions. All right, is there anyone opposed to accepting the minutes as they are now corrected? All right, very good. The minutes are accepted. All right, next, I have failed to introduce our guests. One is chairperson of the Board of Supervisors, Starns, and the other is the vice president of the Graduate School. Both who are here to address the Senate. So we thank you both for your presence. Now, Rémy Starns is the state public defender overseeing the entire 64 parish public defense system in Louisiana, which represents almost 88% of all persons accused of crime statewide. Prior to his appointment as state public defender, Mr. Starns was an assistant district attorney. Okay, could somebody pronounce that for me? Avoyes Parish? Avoyles. All right, I apologize. And practiced civil and criminal law in a wide range of matters in both state and federal court. Mr. Starnes was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 1993 graduate of LSU. He received a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science with minors in Latin and Classical Civilization while also playing for the LSU Tigers. Mr. Starnes was appointed to the LSU Board of Supervisors by Governor John Bell Edwards in June 2018. Thank you for being here, sir. I see you.
Thank you. Good to be with y'all. My name is Rémy Starns, and I am the chair of the LSU Board of Supervisors. Being appointed supervisor has been the honor of my life because of the great opportunity it gives me to serve the university that I love. I want to thank President Lopez for the invitation and the opportunity to be with all of you today. At the last meeting of the Board of Supervisors, President Lopez invited me to attend the Faculty Advisors meeting. I was touched by the invitation and reception that I received. Faculty Senate has worked diligently during the pandemic, particularly on safety measures, and President Lopez has been a steady presence at all of our meetings. LSU is integral to my understanding of the world and of myself. When I say LSU, I mean more than our celebrated stately oaks and broad magnolias. I mean the entire university, matriculating with students from different backgrounds, perspectives, and learning from professors who are true scholars, great teachers, researchers, acclaimed experts in their field. The LSU faculty has a well-established reputation as fierce debaters, professionals, academicians, scholars, researchers, who bring the rigor developed in conducting intensive research and defending dissertations to the issues today. We put 3,000 of these highly intelligent, diverse, opinionated people together. There's bound to be disagreement at times. These clashes, often conflicting ideas, produce a wonderful distillation of truth, understanding, and clarity to debated topics. And to an open-minded person, yes, even the result of the education. That's the beauty of a great university, to be a place where these things happen. I see my role as encouraging this culture, supporting the community of scholars. I also want to discourage the opposite. Discourse laced with invective and honorable attacks, but not grounded in good faith intellectual disagreement. This way is toxic. It lowers the standing of the attackers, and by setting such a poor example of debate, harms the university. As a supervisor and now chair, I have a deep and abiding respect for our faculty and the excellent professionals that you are. I am committed, as is our administration and my fellow supervisors, to the long-standing practice of shared governance. Recently, there's been some confusion regarding shared governance. A proposed board resolution is on the agenda, but pulled by President Tate. The primary impetus for this proposal was to clarify which entity carries the voice of the faculty. Who is it that we deal with when we're addressing faculty concerns? And why is this an issue? We have records that go back to 1936 about faculty council meetings. In our regulations, faculty council is defined as full-time members of the academic staff having the rank of instructor or higher. That shall constitute the faculty of the campus to which they are appointed. The faculty may organize itself into a faculty council. which shall include all full-time members of the faculty and members of the administrative council. 1958, the faculty council created the policy committee. The policy committee did many things. It actually functioned as an executive committee. That is, a small part of the whole who could act for the whole from time to time, often on discrete topics. By 1970, the faculty council decided to adopt a faculty senate. This was debated for several years. And finally, in 1973, a faculty senate was created at LSU and approved by the Board of Supervisors in May of this year. The resolution that was pulled sought to clarify which of these bodies or other is the group to deal with from the administration level and from the supervisor level. I assure you that the Board of Supervisors and the LSU administration will work collaboratively to find solutions to and address problems in a good faith manner with whomever the faculty designates as their representative or representatives. I emphasize that the faculty has full authority to determine your own form of governance. That is, whose voice shall speak for the faculty. I implore you to tell us who that one voice will be. I also ask that you establish a procedure to call yourselves together for purposes of determining this representation. It's a role of the faculty, not the Board of Supervisors and not the administration, to make these determinations. I thank you for your consideration, your attention, and look forward to working with you to promote the culture of education with a vibrant community of scholars. Good times. I will take questions.
Are there any questions for Chairperson Starr?
Yes, sir.
Man, mass communication. I'm a little confused. The faculty senate says it wants a vaccine mandate. The faculty council votes 90% for a vaccine mandate. The only time the faculty council has spoken the last decade or so, as I understand you, you're saying you don't know who to listen to. We're all saying the same thing. So where is the confusion about the only matter that the two entities have spoken on? They both said exactly the same thing, and you're confused about who you should listen to both of us.
Professor, we're not confused and we've never been confused. What we've asked is, we get multiple voices on any issue. We need to know from the faculty who it is we should address. That's all. Nobody's being silenced. Nobody's being shut out. We're simply asking for the faculty to determine amongst yourselves, in the way that you choose to govern yourselves, and the way you organize, to bring issues in that way to the administration level, for the administration to deal with, and for the supervisors to interact with the administration. That's it. So we had multiple people. I was told that some people were faculty senators. Maybe they were operating with the resolution of faculty senate or not. I do not know that. Maybe they were acting on an agenda for themselves. Maybe they were not. I do not know that. But from an administrative standpoint and from a supervisor standpoint, we don't think the proper way to go is to pick and choose which voice to listen to. The way it's structured is the faculty determines how they want to be governed, what voices speak for them, and bring that vessel to the administration for us to deal with. That's all we've asked for. Yes, sir.
Suppose the faculty decides to keep the current structure, we have a faculty council and a faculty senate. Where does the board of supervisors go from there? Are we going to allow us to determine the way we want to be governed? And if the
I think that's fine. That's the way you choose to go. I think we're fine with that. Just speaking of how these things go, pass a resolution. This is the will of the faculty. And we take that, brought to us, and we interact on that basis. That's the way I've always seen boards operate, is through resolutions. So I would expect there'd be a resolution from Senate or the council, however y'all choose to do it, brought to the administration. So
Can I follow up?
yes, sir.
So we have the existing structure. Why do we need a resolution to maintain the existing structure? We have no resolution that says we maintain the structure.
Well, you may be right, but we need to communicate to us, not the way things are communicated by boards and resolutions, but maybe you don't. I don't want to prejudge how y'all do your business. We just need one voice, not only one person, but however it is y'all choose to govern yourselves. Whenever you communicate that to the administration, we want that to be one thing, whatever it is, and we'll deal with that one thing. What we can't be in a position of doing is we deal with this one thing, but this group of self-appointed people with differing views says, no, that didn't do it, you gotta do this thing. And then there's another group and another group. That's no way to govern the university. We can't officially operate that way. So whatever, however the one voice comes to us, it can be, it's your choice. You retain full authority to govern yourselves. However that comes to us, bring it to us. But you choose amongst yourself what that is. Yes, sir.
And it's your own political science. And I understand that this is expedient for the administration to have one person to deal with, but this is also antithetical to the interests of the faculty and our own governance, because admittedly, as has been stated earlier by some of our speakers, sometimes their institutions aren't perfect and they don't get the message right. And so why should faculty give up our ability to lobby the Board of Supervisors if we think that our representatives are not at that point in time representing the interests of the faculty as a whole? And be burdened by working through administrative channels when ultimately, under the current structure, each of us is empowered as a member of the faculty council to weigh in on policy.
What do you teach in political science?
International relations.
International.
Yeah.
Well, okay, fair enough. But the deal with these representative bodies is what?
Well, it's delegation and oversight.
Right, and so the idea of representative government is the entire group picks representatives in their interest, and then those people create policy. It's seen as an improvement over the traditional democratic way, where you have 3,000 people show up and give 3,000 opinions, and the reasons that mass number of interests are seen as inefficient are the reasons that representative government came about. And so I would encourage you not to give up your voice, but I would encourage you to, you don't choose your own way, but if it is a representative government or representative governing scheme or plan, I would encourage you to use your politics there and get the policies you want through the representative government and bring to the administration. It is just difficult to deal with 3,000 different places. And you should not believe this is what has been done structurally in the faculty council, faculty senate, and all the several committees over the years, is to find that representative way to speak to the faculty. And I think it will work. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for waiting, parents at the university.
I'll take both of you. What's your name?
My understanding is that
The last up to Mr.
I
Strong.
can't do. How about I take questions from senators here, and then any parents that want to ask me a question, I'll meet them out there. How about that? Right after this. Yes, sir.
So, Henry, from alternate from Martin Philip. So, I want to thank you for coming here and putting your hospitality. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
I'm coming on just to share something. I just want to give you a maybe this is a little, not very long, in the narrative, the conversation that you're now part of. I do appreciate the fact very much, sir, that you're saying that we have a say in our own governments. Because that did not seem to us to be the spirit of things back in August, when nobody knew here proposed that the Board of Supervisors was proposing to eliminate the deliberative capacity of the faculty council. However, right or wrong on that question, we just simply didn't know. In fact, the only people who knew on Wednesday prior to the Friday meeting was President Lopez and Pro Tem.
Now, all the opposite.
Ken McMillan and
What's your name?
And
What is your name?
my name is Edward Shahar.
Sir.
Edward
Shahada.
Shahada?
Yes, sir. And so, the only time that people on the executive committee had an opportunity to voice their attention and found out about this was 16 hours prior to your meeting. And we got an email, of course, and this infamous email from President Lopez, where she found out about this, said, please keep this confidential. So, you don't answer for that email. I'm not asking you to, with all respect. But it does seem to be misaligned with the notion that we all are here to decide for ourselves, when it seems to us in the dark of night, this was going on and we weren't informed. I don't hold you responsible for it, I'm just giving you the background.
Well, I thank you, Professor, for that, and that's actually a very important point, and I thank you for making it. Because that's the reason I came here today, was to clarify that issue. And that is, it's not the intention of the Board of Supervisors, it's not any part of what we were trying to do with that resolution. It is not any part of our deliberation to silence the voice of the faculty, to interfere in any way with the faculty's determination of how they should govern themselves. We were simply asking for one voice and you choose. You choose your structure, you choose who that is, all those things. So I realized there was confusion regarding that, and that's when it came to my attention that that was not digested in the way that we thought it should have been. That's when I decided to come here and speak with you, to make that right. Anyone else? So any parents want to speak to me, I'll leave them in the hall. You,
Hi.
what's your name?
Lana Philip Wabbits. I did email this question in, but I realize that the issue is currently tabled about eliminating the faculty council, but is the Board of Supervisors planning on bringing the issue back?
We have no, it's not on our agenda, and we have no plans to put it on an agenda. What I think should happen is this body decides for itself how this should go. I will be available to interact with any of you or all of you when needed. If that's something you want to do, I will interact with you however you think is best, or not at all if you think it's best. And once this body communicates to us how you wish to be governed, and this dovetails into that long tradition of shared governance that I'm committed to. At that point, we'll decide how to go forward. But we're not going to bring it back. We're going to have, the faculty, of course, our hope is going to determine how the faculty wants to be governed, and when we communicate that to us, we will take the next step. Thank you very much.
All right, we want to thank, well, he's exited, I guess he exited right or left, or whichever side it is. We do thank Chairperson Starns for coming to our meeting. This has been an open invitation in the 3 years that I've been president. And yes, Professor Felton. Are you raising your hand? Okay.
And you speak a little louder.
According to Article 2, Item 3 of the bylaws, any member can move to reorder the agenda. I would like to move to reorder the agenda
Okay, say again, I'm not sure I heard you. So 11 and 12.
Item 11 is old business. Item 12 is new business.
Yes?
I move that we consider those next, so that the order of agenda, on the agenda be next, old business, then new business. then-
Okay, well, we're not there yet. We have the president's report.
No, that's why I'm moving that we reorder the agenda, so that those come next, followed by the president's report, Brad's school strategic plan, and the Federal Senate Appeal Board elections.
All right, I believe the motion is to move new business to the two, new,
Old and new business. Do old business next, then new business, then the president's report.
okay. Okay. All right, the motion is to move forward with, number 11, old business, followed by new business. And then continue, with the, president's report and the, presentation by VP Spencer and the appeals board elections.
Second.
Okay.
Can I ask a question though?
Yeah.
Is there a possibility to consider letting VP Spencer go first? Because we're gonna spend like 3 hours if we had it discussing all these resolutions. And he was on the agenda to do that stuff, so let him go first and then we'll move on to more business. I mean, if that's okay, but I would imagine he's not gonna be able to speak if we have all this stuff going on.
I will be available when and show up when you'd like me to talk. Yeah.
Okay, so there was, all right, well, there is a motion and a second. Yes, John?
The motion requires 2/3 vote of the assembly.
All right, we need to take a vote. I guess we can do that by poll through. Yes, Dr.
I'm
Vada.
going to accept, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, because I understand
No, no, I
but we have
understand.
a guest presenting.
So just to make sure we know what we're voting on, then it would be that, item 9 would be next, LSU Grad School Strategic Plan Report, followed by old business, followed by new business, and that.
Okay, so the current is that we are skipping the president's report, moving on to the graduate school strategic plan update, skipping the faculty senate appeals board election, moving on with old business, and then new business, and then I assume circling back. All right, is there, there's a motion and a second? All right, 2/3 of the, is everyone comfortable? Yes. Professor Del Valle.
I'm not quite sure what the rationale is. I'm kind of opposed to that. I'm not sure what the meeting might have. And I assume that you all, the executive committee plan this, I guess, 9 and we have the reasons. That's the, my last we describe a certain agenda, full business or the new business, and so various, I guess, for, I assume that we have more time for the resolution first, but I still,
Professor Valley.
Dr. Logan, I would contend that you cannot hold this meeting because you cannot hear people speak. And can we get a microphone for people to speak into? I'm struggling to hear what people are saying.
Right, well, this thing is blasting really loud. I don't think anyone can really hear each other. So we don't have a microphone available. Again,
There's usually one in the drawer.
Okay. I have no clue what I'm doing. Do I just turn it on?
I can volunteer to take it around.
Testing.
Okay. I think what,
Professor Dalzell is requesting is the justification for the changing the order of the agenda. Is that correct, Professor Dalzell?
I couldn't write everything you said. That might be what I said.
Okay, I think what he's asking for is justification for changing the order of the agenda.
Yes, as I recall from Robert's rules, they say, I'm moving for the orders of the day. Maybe that was some phrase in Robert's.
Oh, it's gone off. I think you have to push the button again.
So, battery's dead, but, I'm not moved to change the agenda in such a dramatic way at the last minute. You can try.
Don't we have a motion and a second on the floor to vote on? So prior, we have another motion.
Well, I guess there can be a discussion, so.
But we have a motion and a second already.
All right.
Now, it's that we all know that these things have run over, we know that people have places to go. And what's happened is that by the time we get to the deliberative stuff, the really important stuff, half of us are gone. And so my idea was simply to get the deliberative stuff front and center. And then an amendment was made out of courtesy to our guests that perhaps the grad school dean should go first. I don't think either one, but my idea was just, let's get to the business that we want to get to.
Okay, it requires a 2/3 vote. Do we have a vote ready?
Sorry to interrupt, I'm just trying, will those of us online, will there be a poll, or do we use the chat to vote? And also, if I may, I think someone mentioned this, but if there is a microphone going around, I would ask that everyone please use it, because you can't hear anyone from the Senate body unless they're up at the main mic, please.
Okay, yes, Professor, I'm trying, Professor Theta Daniels-Race has requested, well, yes, you will have access to the same voting mechanism, Professor, and she has requested that people use the microphone we've sent off for some batteries so that they can hear us. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, so like we did for the member at large in September, please take a picture of the QR code. I will give you the link for those online. Just give me a moment to stop speaking and head over to my computer. Like all voting, this will be vetted. And senators only, please, no guests.
Order says, please indicate your vote to change the order of the September 22 agenda. It says September 22.
Yes, it's an old one that I prepared in September. Please just pretend this is November 15th. I can also change it as well. That's right, you guys.
I won't update it before.
Yeah.
Are you using your camera? Are you using your camera?
Usually my camera's not working. Can I just get an email? You guys have a whole document? Just email this.
Sure, I can do that. Yep. Whoops.
Okay, so Ms. Knoll is emailing the link to vote. Please vote only one. People are saying saying when you use the QRS code, it takes a minute to load. So be patient. If you are in the room, you need to have that. Okay, so, the Constitution supersedes, I guess it's Robert's rules. And in our Constitution, it says majority vote to change the agenda. Okay, has everyone had a chance to vote? Is there anyone who has not been able to go to the website or use the QRS code?
Just sent. You just have to give me a few minutes. Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, is there anyone else who has not been able to vote? Okay, have those online been able to vote?
Thank you so much.
Okay, has everyone been able to vote? All right, we will reorder the agenda as the Senate has elected to do so. All right, so the Resolution 2102, faculty endorsement of the Graduate Student Bill of Rights has been postponed once again. So we'll go on to the next. Second reading of Resolution 21-06, a guide to bring LSU's vaccination mandate into conformity with state law and national guidelines. All right, did I mess it up again?
No, may I make a quick motion? It's to postpone the second readings of 2107. I'd like to move that we postpone the readings of 2107 and the one I sponsored, until our next meeting.
Okay, I think we are on 2106, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, there's been a request to delay or postpone the second reading of Resolution 2107 until our next meeting. Now, we're currently on the second reading of Resolution 2106. Correct?
That is correct, Madam President. Sorry, I didn't mean to shout to the microphone. I think what Rosemary was trying to say is, we had talked about this before. We would like to postpone our resolution until December as well, and we would like to move that perhaps we could continue, do this together so that we don't have to have two votes, both 2106 and 2107 to be postponed until the December meeting.
Okay, very good. Yes, no, I couldn't hear you completely. Okay, 21 and 26 are postponed, until the December meeting. All right, Resolution 2108, an expression of no confidence in selected members of the Family Senate leadership. All right, okay, Professor Del Zell.
I'm going to go into executive session to discuss this resolution, 2108. The part of the open meetings law that says if you're discussing allegations of misconduct by a member, then you can go into executive session. You don't have to, but that's my motion.
Okay, there's a motion to go into executive session because according to Robert's rules, when there are discussions about open meetings, when there are discussions, Louisiana Public Meeting, Open Meetings Laws, Public Meetings Laws, when there's discussion about personnel matters, it is recommended to go into executive session.
Oh, and I forgot to say, it's not just the open meetings law that permits it, but Robert's rules requires this. Let me see. Yes. If the rules of the organization do not otherwise provide for the method of charge and trial, a member may at the time when non-members are not present, offer a resolution to appoint an investigative committee or something like that. But it has to be when members are not present when non-members are not present. So only members should be present, or perhaps necessary staff during that time. So
Okay, well, an issue has been raised that discussing the character of the members of a society, body, etc., is not appropriate in an open meeting. Yes, Professor Newman.
So why wasn't this motion made?
Right, and this is a good question. So, and the question is, why wasn't this raised at the first meeting? Well, to be honest, I am completely open to feedback, criticism, and instruction.
I can speak for myself on that.
Okay.
It was my motion.
All right, so I, being welcoming feedback, advice, interaction, was not necessarily opposed to people having the right to voice their opinions, and I thought it would be a good opportunity for all of us to air our concerns. I did not anticipate what would occur, and I guess at some point it went beyond the discussion of our individual concerns. So that is why I bungled it. I've since been schooled extensively in Robert's rules, and it should never have been continued as it was. So I apologize for that. And I apologize to my colleagues who were also involved. That's why. But it was a violation of Robert's rules. Is there a motion to go into executive session? There's a motion and a second. I believe we have to vote. Could we make it more quickly? Maybe perhaps we could conduct this a little more quickly. Is there someone willing, is anyone opposed to going into executive session? All right. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Anyone online? Opposed?
Yeah, point of clarification, please. Again, I'm sorry, the audio coming across online is a bit difficult. This is Theta Daniels Race again, College of Engineering. So is the point that the resolution, according to Robert's rules or what have you, would not only be viewed in this body, but instead in an executive session consisting of the members, I was just keeping the members at the table, is that what we're talking about?
No, people online will also be included, all members, yeah.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you again, President. Said people what?
Senate members online will also be included, but it will be limited to members of the faculty senate.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you for the information.
All right, it appears the motion to move into executive session stands. So I need to ask everyone who is not a senator to please leave the room. So sorry, VP. Yeah?
Don't worry about it.
All right.